Welcome to the League. This is Real Takes with Major League, where I break down today's headlines and give you the takes that actually matter. Today, the Trump administration's rhetoric leads to a federal judge's house going up in flames. ICE is quietly building a 24/7 social media surveillance unit. And Ghislaine Maxwell's appeals get shut down, leaving Trump in a very dangerous spot. But before we get started today, remember, hit that subscribe button, join the conversation in the comments, and share this video with your community. Let's get it.
In South Carolina, 3 people are recovering right now after a fire at the home of a circuit court judge. It happened at the Edisto Beach home of Diane Goodstein and her husband, former state senator Arnold Goodstein. Due to that remote location, they had to be rescued by kayak. The extent of their injuries and the cause of the fire are unknown.
Judge Goodstein had been receiving death threats for at least the last couple weeks, immediately after the Trump administration branded her as a tyrannical lunatic. The FBI and local investigators say the cause of the fire is still under review, but witnesses report a huge explosion right before the fire started. When political leaders demonize judges, they erode the rule of law brick by brick. Stephen Miller calling judges agitators, terrorists, enemies. Words like that give unstable people permission to act. That can't be just dismissed as rhetoric. It's a recruitment strategy for violence. This is how authoritarian movements work. They destroy trust in institutions and replace them with fear. So far, the Justice Department is treating this like an isolated incident, but we know it's not. Threats against federal judges have tripled in the last 5 years, and we know the numbers keep climbing. If courts can't operate safely, democracy doesn't function at all. And we know that's exactly what the Trump administration wants. They want to erode your confidence in institutions, to centralize government and gain more power and control for themselves. This isn't about a potential arson or a fire or political violence itself. This is about whether truth and law can survive intimidation. And unless we start calling out people like Stephen Miller and Donald Trump for stoking this political terrorism, it's just going to get worse. And while one branch of the government is under attack, another turns its gaze toward us.
The announcement has shaken immigrant communities across the United States. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, better known as ICE, has officially expanded its surveillance operations to monitor social media platforms 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, under the justification of supporting deportation procedures. For many, this represents not just a bureaucratic change, but a profound shift in how personal lives, online conversations, and even casual posts may now be scrutinized under the lens of immigration enforcement. The agency argues that such a move is necessary in order to track individuals who might otherwise evade detection using online networks to organize, conceal identities, or share misleading information with authorities. In an age where so much of daily life unfolds digitally, ICE is essentially stepping into the private sphere of communication, attempting to align immigration control with the speed and volume of the Internet. The news first surfaced through official briefings and has since been picked up by national outlets such as Reuters and the Associated Press, describing how the government is increasing its technological capacity to capture and analyze vast amounts of data from platforms like Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and encrypted messaging services. The official narrative frames this as an evolution of enforcement in line with national security concerns. But critics say this is the most aggressive step yet in a broader pattern of digital surveillance.
ICE wants nearly 30 analysts working 24/7 to monitor Twitter, X, Facebook, Instagram, basically every aspect of your social media life. Their job would be to turn your social media posts into information leads for their immigration enforcement. In other words, Big Brother is outsourcing his job to private contractors. This isn't about immigration. This is about building out a surveillance state infrastructure. Because once the government normalizes this type of surveillance, it's not just going to stop at immigrants. It's going to expand to activists, journalists, or really anybody who challenges their authority. And the technology itself is already built. AI scraping, facial recognition, keyword tracking. We're watching the construction of a digital police state in real time. ICE is calling this their information gathering phase for now. But that's the first step to a full-blown surveillance program. Once those contracts are signed, that data pipeline doesn't close. It just grows. Congress could intervene, but it won't. So it's on us to push for oversight, transparency, and our digital rights. Because if your social media posts can be weaponized, then your voice can be criminalized next. And while the administration is building out a network to know all your secrets, Donald Trump is working overtime to keep protecting his.
The new session of the U.S. Supreme Court is now underway, with the justices considering pivotal cases on voting, LGBTQ+ rights, and President Trump's use of executive power. But they won't hear an appeal from Ghislaine Maxwell. She's the former girlfriend, you may remember, of Jeffrey Epstein, now serving a 20-year prison term for sex trafficking and other charges. Her lawyers say the British socialite should never have been tried. As is custom, the justices did not explain why they turned away the appeal. Epstein was arrested in 2019 on sex trafficking charges and accused of sexually abusing dozens of teen girls. He was found dead, of course, a month later in that New York City jail cell.
So the Supreme Court refused to hear Ghislaine Maxwell's appeal, meaning she's going to spend the duration of her 20-year sentence in prison. No new trials, no more legal outs. She's already served just a few years, but she's running out of leverage fast. But what she always has in her back pocket is the names of some very powerful people, more than likely Trump among them. Maxwell's silence has protected more than just herself. It's shielded an entire circle of influence. If she ever decides to talk, the whole wall comes crashing down. And that means Donald Trump faces a brutal choice. He could pardon her and look incredibly guilty, or let her rot and hope she keeps her mouth shut. A pardon would be political suicide. But if she flips and breaks her silence, that's absolutely catastrophic. And not just for him, but for politicians, billionaires, and very powerful men and women all around the world. It's the kind of moral corner only a man with something to hide can paint himself into. Her legal path is over, but the political pressure surrounding this story is just ramping up. With her options now limited, she's going to have more of a reason to hear out every journalist and investigator looking to get every name off that Epstein list. That's why this loss isn't just hers, it's Trump's loss too. Thank you so much for joining Real Takes with Major League. As always, hit that subscribe button, join the conversation down in the comments, and share this video with your community.